They've been around a long time, and we finally get them here. Please welcome Bazeen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Mercy, I'm glad we're in this kind of a community where you can just speak your mind, ask for what you want, show up whether you're happy or not, be in the process. I mean, really, that's one of the great gifts of this kind of center church, where you can just really be who you are. And I remember times in my life when I didn't let myself do that, even as a practitioner. I remember feeling like, well, the decorum and all. Oh, mercy. I am a renegade. Yay. And I think one of the reasons I'm here is to bring some of that spiciness in through any channel that it wants to get in through. Remember those Russian words I taught you in the very beginning? Sochny, mochny. Yeah, well, that's their music is really sochny, mochny. It means juicy and powerful. All right, well, here we are. God, isn't it a blessing that we're here? Yes, I am so glad that we're here, that I'm here, that you're here, and we're here together. Because actually today we are starting a journey. We're starting a journey at a very new level. We had an annual meeting in Ukraine 2 weeks ago, and 2 days before the meeting I looked at the agenda and I said, doesn't inspire me. It's the same old thing. And we were having lots of challenges there. Things were different than we thought we wanted them to be. And, we had a vision of possibility, and it wasn't quite working that way. And people were kind of, doing that. See that? No words needed there. Great. In Russian, we'd say, "Это твой виновата." But we don't have to do that here. We can just do that. I told Pat this morning, Pat Shook, my wonderful friend and roommate, I said, this is a really serious topic, and I'm a little afraid of how serious it is, and I really don't know how to make it funny. And she said, oh, you'll find a way. And actually, I have it in me, I just forgot and forget. And then sometimes when it's really required, it comes out. And so I want to give us all permission. I want you to give yourself permission. Karen Drucker has a great song. I give myself permission to be all I can be. So, why not give ourselves permission to be who we are and who we want to be? So this month, what I said in Ukraine was, okay, so let's change the rule of the game. This is with my team before we got to and the board before we got to the meeting. 2 days before the meeting, I said, let's change the rules. That's the thing that makes people here really nervous about me. I can do that there. A little harder here. I'm trying, honestly, I am. I really am trying, because I'm committed to the result we're all committed to, which is that we grow and prosper. But if we're not having fun, we're not going to. If it's just work, we're not going to. And that's what I saw when I looked at our agenda for the annual meeting 2 weeks ago. I said, oh. And so Jim Westbury said something. We had a great meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm thinking about it a lot, this meeting. And he gave me 3 really great ideas. And this really great quote, which maybe you noticed in the bulletin that went out online, thanks to Kelly for always making sure we get those things. And he said, nobody comes so they can get involved, but they don't stay unless they are. That's a spiritual truism. Because if you just come and go and you don't let it get you, and it isn't fun, and you're just doing it for some old reason, and you don't let yourself clap or dance or wear funny clothes or dance in the aisles or just, do whatever, then it's going to just be ho-hum. And then if it's ho-hum, who the heck's going to come? I don't want ho-hum, do you? No. All right, so we got to do something about it. So, it's our choice. So this month, we're going to take a step. I don't know if we're going to take the same step we made in Ukraine, but I'm going to just tell you shortly what we did, and then it'll really be up to you, but I do have some tools to help. And in Ukraine, what we did, because I didn't know what the answer was. When the staff said, well, then what are we going to do? I said, well, I really don't know. And they looked at me like, well, that's not a very good answer. And so I do what I always do not always, but mostly do when I don't know, is I ask my silent partner. Because my silent partner is just the smartest answer source in the world or in the universe. And so I said, God, tell me, what should we do here? And I got this idea. I said, what's our best resources? I said, write them down. And there were 4 of us in this meeting at this moment. And we all wrote them down. And we all wrote down the same 2 things. Guess what they were? The teaching and each other. The teaching and our relationship that the 4 of us had, which we actually, as soon as we felt it, we all cried. And we thought of who are the other people in our community that we have this relationship with, where we totally rely on each other. We know we have each other's backs. We'll tell the truth no matter what. We can show up happy, sad, angry, joyful, whatever, and someone will say, would you like to breathe with me? And we won't say, leave me alone, I'm needing to, meh, meh. We'll say, thank you. So when we saw that we had this resource and we valued it deeply, I said, what if what we do then from this moment forward is we take the highest part of this teaching that we can comprehend and use it when we're at the lowest moments in our relationships? What if we did that? What if we made all of our moments matter? So we said we would do that, the 4 of us. And then we said, who else is in the circle? And it became 8. And 2 days later, we went to our annual meeting, and it became 50. And they're not all going to do it. That's the nature of things sometimes. But the 8 of us are. And what we decided was that we are going to use any discomfort to be like a bell that says, pause, breathe, choose peace. Now, how am I really feeling? What's scaring me? Where do I wish I could be in my consciousness? What kind of help would I like? And we just listen to each other. And then we serve each other without trying to fix or help or anything. We just are there accepting people right where they are. And we use all moments for good. So it was so compelling of an idea. So the next night we had a lecture, which I was doing by Skype, and my assistant over there said, well, I don't know how to do this, and I don't feel ready. And we're in the middle of a lecture. We're talking about something, and she's sharing, and I said, let's use this. And so we picked it up, and we said, how do you feel? What's going on in you? What are you afraid of? What would you like instead? How could we support you? What could be different? What do you feel like is your next step in this? And she answered all those things because we were a loving presence. And we got to an answer that was so powerful for her that she shifted right there in front of us. Isn't that something? And so we've been doing that for 2 weeks now in the oddest little ways. So I know that practice is very ruthless. It's really big practice. And we're going to do whatever we're going to do with it. But this month, by some divine design, from home office is all about transformation and evolution. And as it happens, this is also Pledge Month here in our community, where we're asking people to transform out of the resistance to listen to me talk about money, out of any resistance to give more, out of any fear that there isn't enough to give in the first place. And how could I possibly do what's in my heart to do when I can't pay my electric bill? Or when I'm saving for my whatever? And this is the month where we learn to shift out of the limitation to the possibility of thriving. And it doesn't happen unless we lean into the principles that we hear every Sunday here. That there's only one thing happening. It's all God, and everything is contained within one perfect whole thing. And so no matter what the challenge looks like, it's really a call from Spirit to step up into a greater state of consciousness and a greater experience of flow. That's really what we're here, what we're born for, is to flow, to be in that unlimited abundance that is our nature, and to wake up and remember that. We're going to sing about that this morning. Well, hopefully this morning, as opposed to afternoon. So I brought along a really powerful, smart friend, Dr. Ken Gordon, and I wish he were here to dance on in, because he'd be saying, yes, that's right, and he'd be full of all this kind of energy, but he's here on the video, and he's got quite a bit of energy with him too, so let's see what his take is on this theme of this month, and then I'll come back and talk about us.
The staying power of our teaching. You know, our teaching was made for times like this. This is the time that we're called for. We've been teaching for over 90 years. We've been spreading the word of the science of mind into the world. And every single time, every year, every season, every generation, every era, it has always been pertinent. There's never been a time when science of mind was redundant. We've always had the opportunity to bring forward these truths that we espouse, these tenets that we talk about. And the tenets basically is that once you get a new idea, once you open yourself to a new conclusion in life, a new belief system, the end result is everything in your experience transforms and changes. Never before has the world needed our message more. Emanuel Swedenborg stated that before anything is brought back into order, it's quite normal for it to be brought first into a kind of confusion, a virtual chaos. And in this way, things that fit together badly are severed from each other, and when they've been severed, then the Lord arranges them in order. We can see the same relevance today. It's clear that something new is trying to happen, trying to emerge in our world around us. We see it in our business, in the business world, the world of finance. We see it in the political world. We see it in the spiritual and religious world. There has become an awakening within humanity. And I'll share with you is that there is a greater light that has ever happened before. And when that greater light shines upon us, what we'll see is a greater shadow. And that shadow is what we're dealing with here today. Dr. Holmes in The Love and Law, page 22, said, "You'll find your word has the amount of power, the amount of intelligence that you put into it, and it has creative power according to the amount of absolute conviction and the impulse of love which is behind it." He also said in Love and Law on page 27 that your final emancipation will be written by your own hand, thought by your own mind, recognized as your own birthright. For me, this means that it's incumbent upon us to transform and change who we are. In order for us to have a voice in the world, we have to model our own teaching, which means we can no longer afford to step forward and speak from anger or hatred or resentment or prejudice. We must clean that within our own self and our own being before we can have a voice in the world around us without creating and bringing back more of the havoc and chaos that Swedenborg talked about. The possibilities are absolutely limitless. What we can do if we center ourselves and move forward in the tradition of our teaching and the belief in the rightness of it, the end result is that we will not only see the goodness of life, but we will see the transformation to goodness of the world around us. Thank you and bless you.
So the dictionary defines transformation as a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance, a radical shift from one state to another. And evolution, in spiritual terms, may be thought of as the ongoing process of journeying from change to change, each progressively revealing more of its own true nature. That's the journey that this month is an invitation to. It's a journey of prosperity, which is the name of our pledge program. And what is really true is that as much as we might wish the world to live in peace, or the world to be prosperous, or as much as we would love our community to be thriving and filled to overflowing and have so many classes that, you know, the coffers are overflowing and we're saving money for our own new home, as much as we would wish that our relationship was just pure bliss all of the time, as much as we would wish that we are the epitome of health and well-being, as possible as all those things are, because that is the foundation of who we are, perfect, complete, and whole, as much as that is the truth, we will, as Dr. Ken described, as it is written, we will take out of that law or that principle as much as we can conceive of, and we will do with it as much as we are able. And that's normal, which is why we keep coming back so we can grow and learn. So in order to have the community thrive, we need to thrive. And we need to begin this thriving in our mind. We need to begin to notice when we feel like we're not thriving, when we fear that we never will, or what if, and all those things. And so I'm going to ask Raj to cue up this image of our thrive, of our theme for this month's pledge program. And I don't know if Kelly is in the room. I don't see her. But if there's an usher that has, oh yes, there is, and Larry's back there, blessed be. So this is Pledge Month. There it is. This drawing was created by our friend John Maserati. Yay, John. And he created it by listening to me what do I see as our work right now? In what is our journey on this pledge program? And the journey starts over here. This is called the wall of limitation. And I wanted it to have a whole bunch of little bricks in it. And it didn't. And then I realized, oh, God is so good. You know, I forgot to tell him, and he didn't ask me. And so the bricks are empty. Why are they empty? Because this is going to be your brick. In a little while, those of you who choose to take this journey of transformation to thriving and being prosperous, signified over there by the sun, you're going to have your own image, and you're going to put in your own bricks. And maybe you just have 2 big ones. Or maybe you have 100 little ones. It's really up to you. This is a personal journey. And so we're going to put in here the ways we limit ourselves. This is the wall of limitation. And then over there in the upper right-hand corner, we have the field of pure possibility symbolized by the sun, because when life is really thriving in us, we're joyful, we're happy, it's hot, it's juicy, it's Bazeen, it's mochni, it's all of that stuff. But it doesn't get to be like that unless we take this journey. If we just sit over here sitting on the wall going, well, I can see this beautiful valley, and look at that, isn't that a nice river? And oh, the sun is coming up. Wouldn't it be nice if I could be over there and doing that? But here I am because, and if we stayed there in the world of not enoughness, we'll never take this journey to these steps, which is our own personal choices. What are my steps? There's 5 of them. It could be the 5 steps of treatment. It could be willingness to tell the truth about this, courage to accept it with love, conscious choice to make a new decision, support to change my habits, and ways to celebrate my success. Could be that. That would be good. And then we're on the journey, and we're on this next part, which is the practice, the discipline, the devotion, staying the course, so that we grow this as our reality. So that is our journey this month. You can leave the picture there because I want to talk about it a little bit. How many people think that's an interesting process? Yes? All right. How many people have an idea of either the wall of limitation or the vision of possibility of yourself as a prosperous person? Oh, yes. How many people have the same idea about our community? The ways we limit ourselves, just the way we talk really limits us a lot, doesn't it? And everything, there's so many ways we stop ourselves, and there's so much good calling us. So, in fact, this would be a really good time if you would like to take this journey with us. I'm not going to make you take a piece of paper to make me happy. It's not going to make me happier if you stand up. Well, that's probably a lie, but... Well, it's not a lie, but it's... The real truth is, boy, it would feel really great. But honestly, this has to be the place where we tell ourselves the truth. I'm not ready for that. That not everybody in Ukraine said yes to the vision. Some of them said, can I stick around and just, see how it works? Can I try it just at my own speed? And of course we can. We're all welcome wherever we are on our spiritual journey, right? So if you're not wanting to take this journey yet, don't worry. Just keep coming back. You don't have to be a member, by the way. I had this whole thing about membership that I think wasn't quite right, and I'd never been in Utah or Salt Lake City before either. And, every place has its own life and its own culture and its own environment. As much as I would like everyone here to be a member, so we could all vote on the new minister, which hopefully will be soon, but that's really up to us. If being asked to be a member puts you on the defensive, then, I'm not going to ask anymore. If you feel any pressure about this membership thing, please forgive me. It was certainly never my intention. My intention was to empower us to make to be responsible for the direction of this community. But we can do that in lots of ways. So if membership isn't for you, that's fine. Don't feel bad. And don't worry if I find out. I'm going to love you anyway. It's really, we have to practice this in all places, right? So if you want to take this journey with us, I have a present for you, and it's stage 1 of the 5 weeks in April. So if you want to take this journey from limitation to prosperity, I ask you to stand. And please don't stand unless you really want to. And don't think anything about the people who might not be standing. So here's our image. We have people who are going to come around now and give you your first assignment. The assignment is, and please stay standing, it's good for the body. You could wiggle your knees, that gets the blood flowing. And if you got your little counter on, it might count as a step. How many are we supposed to do? 10,000 or something. I'm committed to my health. All right, and I don't know what else you're committed to, but if you know it, you can speak it out. I'm committed to love. I'm committed to love. I'm committed to prosperity. So our focus is to take this piece of paper, which is going to next week be stapled to the rest of the packet that we're giving you. And this week, you put in your own bricks on the wall. You put on there what they are, and you don't need to worry. Nobody's going to look at it but you, unless you want to take it to a practitioner and get some support. That's totally cool. And so you figure out what it is that's holding you back, and you define this sun of prosperity for yourself. On the back of this page, you write, as a prosperous person, I am healthy, I am loved and loving, I am happy, I am serving, I am waking up at 6 o'clock full of enthusiasm, I am having a new car, whatever it is that is prosperity to you. You're having a new condo and a new vehicle and a new relationship. And I know because these people are in my class and we've made some big commitments to step into our prosperous life. So do that and just do those 2 corners for this week. And I promise you, you will never be sorry. And if you just let them get stuck in the newspapers on your table, that won't help you. So put them on the fridge. Just stick this up with a magnet. Thank you for standing for yourself. I want to give you 2 little pieces of inspiration. Now, I was talking to my son last night. He's a biologist, and so whenever we're talking, we always end up talking about nature and birds and fish and water and stuff. And he was out planting the trees, and yesterday was my mother's, if she were still with us, it would have been her 94th birthday. And so we were all talking to each other about Nan and, you know, how we remembered her. And it's really fresh in our hearts. She's been gone 6 months. And we all had amazing experiences yesterday. Birds came and talked to us. And we had images and things happened. And, you know, the unseen side of life is very magical. Anyway, I was saying to Pat, as I think I said, that this is a serious topic, and I really didn't know how to make it funny. But then she said, here's something that might help. We were talking about the wall of limitation. Now, I don't use Siri very much, you know, and I hear her, and I think she gets in the way of good conversations sometimes. But, you know, I'm willing, and she's so helpful. Oh. Right, I get that. Let me be clearer. Siri, what is 0 divided by 0?
Imagine that you have 0 cookies and you split them evenly among 0 friends. How many cookies does each person get? See, it doesn't make sense. And Cookie Monster is sad that there are no cookies. And you are sad that you have no friends.
I'm a convert. I think Siri has some good things to say. The thing is, I have to have the right question because otherwise she won't understand. This is just how life is. Life is so full to overflowing with good answers, but we're responsible for taking out of the law, just like Dr. Ken said, taking out of the law whatever we can hold. So my son said, and then this is the end, we'll stop here for today. My son said, well, you know, I was watching all the birds because Nan loved the birds. And he said, you know, they're all so happy with each other. They're cooing and they're making friends and they're doing all this stuff. And I said, yes, and soon, you know, there'll all be these little baby birds fledging. And I heard that word, fledging. And I thought, and I said to him, that's interesting. I've been working on the idea of pledging all day long. And I wonder if there's any connection, see, because you have to start noticing the little ways Spirit gives you information. And the word fledge and pledge sound really the same, don't they? And what is the quality of fledging? Well, those little babies they get taken care of, and their mothers and fathers, they take care of them, and they don't have to do anything themselves. But comes along a time when the mother and father are saying, come on now, it's time to start, you know, stretching your wings, and they start perching and practicing and, you know, fluttering. And then there's something that happens within them where they feel this impulse to be more, to get out of the constraint of this cozy little comfort zone called a nest. Just like us. We have our little boxes, our little nests where we're comfortable, where we tell stories about ourselves that aren't true. I loved how Reverend Jan did her prayer this morning and said, you know, I choose to leave outside of this room of awareness right now any thought that's contrary to this truth. We have to do that. We have to hear ourselves when we say, oh, you know, whatever. And we just, think so. So anyway, my son said, well, why don't you say to the community, let's pledge to fledge. And I thought that was so cool, because what is fledging but soaring into your whole transformed experience? And so that's one of our little slogans. I want to pledge to fledge. Woo! So let's do the inner work and anchor this, and then we'll bring our amazing musicians. I was going to say magicians. Our amazing musicians back. And really, if the Spirit moves you and you want to get up and dance or rock out in your chair, just go for it. It's very good for the soul. All right, so I invite any practitioners who are here to join with me, standing where you are or coming forward as you wish, as we anchor what we have discovered, heard, felt, seen, and experienced this day, as we put it into the fabric of our life with great gratitude, because we have been given some divine inspiration this day through the reading that Reverend Linda did, through the beautiful song that Rick prepared the prayer for, and with the prayer and the fabulous music and Spirit's messages and all the people that have set the tables and made the coffee and brought the cookies and sold and made the bulletins and ushered you in and everything. It's all here for one thing, that we would fledge, that we would transform into that dream of possibility that has been ours from the time before we were even born. In this very moment, in this very room, as all the songs, all the readings, all the prayers, and all the message has said today, and it's in our heart, otherwise it wouldn't be showing up. There is more than enough love to go around in this very room. And so I know that it is mine to do, to actually define what this beautiful, thriving prosperity is for me personally and for this community. To let myself know with courage and compassion the ways I still play small. And to ask for support, to shift, to transform that little self through the truth of the greatness of this teaching and the feeling that's in my heart now. And so I know that if I am moved, it means we are moved. That we are open, we have been courting the divine, and the divine shows up, and we recognize it and we celebrate it with thanksgiving. And we let it be what guides us this week as we dare to envision our thriving, prosperous self. I give thanks for all of this and all that has been created to allow this to be. I give thanks that Wednesday night I am here for anyone who wants support in this process. Just come, 6 o'clock. Break bread with me at 6 and transform your thinking from 6:30 to 7. We are in a new flow. We are in a new order. We're in a new decision. And love supports us and guides us. And it is so. We let it be.